Stephen A., what does this say about Thomas and the Saints?
I'll leave what's going to happen with Michael Thomas to Max Kellerman. It's a bigger issue for me because I don't think Michael Thomas looks good in all of this. I want to emphasize that I'm not accusing him of lying. I don't know anything about what's going on other than what's reported. I haven't spoken to him. I'm quite sure his truth is his truth authentically to him, and I get all of that, and I understand it. What I want to ask Michael Thomas respectfully to do is pay attention to the optics. In late July of 2019, Michael Thomas, age 26, a wide receiver in the National Football League, received a $100 million contract over 5 years from the New Orleans Saints with $61 million in guarantees. At that particular moment in time, he was the highest paid wide receiver and I think non-quarterback in the history of the National Football League at that particular moment in time. I'm sure it was wide receiver. I'm not sure whether or not it was every other position other than quarterback. But it was exorbitant dollars, guarantees, and we didn't see that every day. And then suddenly we have all of these issues. Now, we know he had like torn deltoids, ligaments in his ankle or something like that, if I remember reading about it. And because of that, he wasn't healthy. My point is, Max and Molly, the season ended for you in January. What the hell was surgery in June about? That would be February, March, April, and May before June. That's at least 4 full months. What the hell were you doing that you couldn't get operated on in that 4-month period? Now, if it's the organization and that's what you're implying, most professional athletes with exorbitant contracts that I know are big on second opinions. So if it's the Saints, then it must have been somebody else. And if it wasn't the Saints or anybody else, what the hell was the 4 months about? Because you know you got a football season coming up. Why are you waiting until June? And the reason I'm asking that question is because if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Molly and Max, isn't that what Sean Payton had an issue with? Isn't that what the report said 2 weeks ago? That Sean Payton had a problem with the fact that the surgery was in June. And so we understand all that. Now, this is Michael Thomas here. 149 receptions 1 year, 125 the year before that. 327 catches over the first 2 years of his over the first 3 years of his career. So you had a quarterback in Drew Brees throwing you the football. Last time I checked, we looked at the New Orleans Saints, and even though Pete Carmichael was an offensive coordinator, we look at Sean Payton as the primary play caller for the New Orleans Saints. Well, why Michael Thomas getting the ball that much? Because that man is relying on you. And if he's relying on you, and then you got surgery in June, when you knew you had the injury all season and it ended in January, it's hard to look at him and say, well, damn, you the victim. Because the coach has every right to look at you and say, I sincerely hope you're exhausting every means and measure to make sure you're going to be out here because I invested this $100 million in you for a reason, which was $20 million a year, which was more than Julio Jones was getting paid at the time, Max. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, my impression is Michael Thomas is not long for the Saints. I don't think he wants to be there. I don't think they want him there. About a year ago, he was on top of many lists as the best wideout in the game. Let's not forget it wasn't that long ago. Who would put him as the best wideout in the game right now? Now, what's happened in the last 12 months? He got hurt. That affected his game. Obviously, your ankle's going to affect your game. He was in a locker room brawl. He had social media beefs, including with the Saints. But most importantly, Stephen A., Drew Brees is gone. Drew Brees retired.
Yep.
And not only does that mean the most accurate quarterback in the history of football is not throwing the ball to one of the best hands in the history, like a guy who catches everything, but it means he's being replaced with a guy who threw 30 interceptions when last playing a full season, and a guy who hasn't played quarterback for much of his career as his primary position. Michael Thompson can't be happy about that. And Drew Brees was a public booster of his, right? Of course, that's his best receiver. He's now gone. Stephen A., what's happening with Michael Thomas, and I don't think Thomas wants to be there for the reasons I just pointed out. And from the Saints' point of view, this is something that Marcellus Wiley used to bring up on Max and Marcellus, the old radio show in L.A., Stephen A. He said, when personality doesn't match production, that's when you have a problem. They'll put up with the personality as long as there's production. But when the production falls off, and if Michael Thomas is not healthy, he's not going to be able to produce. And maybe if Drew Brees is there, that also isn't there, that also affects that. When the production falls off, suddenly they don't want to deal with the personality. For that reason, I do not think Michael Thomas will be a Saint for much longer.
Can I ask one question to both of you really quick, Stephen A., and then go ahead? One thing I don't totally understand with what Max just said is I understand Michael Thomas not wanting to be there with Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston throwing him the ball. But why do you think the Saints wouldn't want him? And Stephen A., if you want to...
Because his speed is affected. His game is affected by the ankle, right? Like, that's one thing. And that's a big thing. And then he's causing problems for them in social media, but doesn't have the production to give them the cover to say, okay, this is worth it.
First of all, he got injured last year. People have come back from injuries. You have a wait-and-see approach, so long as they're exhausting every means and measure to be on the field and to make sure they're ready to go. Here's where, again, we're on the outside. I'm not pretending to know. I haven't spoken to any of the parties involved. This is just based on the information that has been disseminated to us all. I think it's important to point this out, guys. You know something? Drew Brees was hinting towards retirement a couple of years. Michael Thomas didn't sign this contract in 2015. It was 2019 that he signed this contract. It's just 2 years ago. So when you signed that contract, you had an idea that the 5-year, $100 million deal you signed and agreed to, for the most part, Drew Brees wouldn't be there for most of that. And one of the reasons they gave it to you is because you were supposed to be trustworthy. And this is the part that we don't talk about much. And I keep telling y'all, you have to get into that. It's incredibly, incredibly important. This notion that you just get paid because of your talent is a misnomer. It's false. That is not true. Because talent is also, you're also projecting what somebody's level of production is going to be. That involves some level of trust. I'm trusting you're going to be as close to 100% as you can get. I'm trusting that you're going to go all out to maximize your potential. I'm trusting that you're going to be a leader. I'm trusting that you're going to validate for me as a coach in an organization that you are worth this investment that we are making in you. And when you do anything that deviates from that, it's a bit problematic because it doesn't just affect you, Max. It affects the people who follow you because now other organizations don't want to get caught up in investing those kind of dollars, and somebody might end up not answering the call. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.